even start? What's going on, YouTube? It is Trev, truck driver Trev today. So we got a new proposal. I'm laughing about it because if I don't laugh, I'm gonna cry. Frag, member of the former L1 task force, junior dev, also known as Till, he submitted a proposal this morning on Agora, and it is a compromise proposal to possibly combine the two L1 development teams, the two proposals that are out right now being voted on. The original L1 task force, obviously minus Tobias, and this new one with Bilbo Baggins and, quite honestly, and no disrespect intended, some names I've never heard of. That's my fault. I don't do a lot of Agora. I do try to stay kind of up to date on what's happening with Agora. But my experience with Bilbo and Rabbi hasn't necessarily been positive. That's not to take anything away from anybody, right? That's just my interactions and my personal feelings. I find Rabbi to be extremely intelligent, very articulate, very knowledgeable about a lot of things. I just don't agree with him most of the time. He doesn't agree with me any of the time. But that's not a reason to say, oh, you know, everybody has a perspective, right? And I'm open to everybody's perspective. So just because I don't agree with somebody isn't a reason to say that, you know, isn't a reason for me to cut them down or say that they're no good or whatever. You know, my feelings are my feelings, right? Bilbo Baggins, very little interaction with him. He had put out a prop one time on Agora, and I put out a prop, I don't know, maybe an hour later or something like that. That was a total contradiction or the opposite of his prop. I believe that he thought that my prop was to, you know, run defense on his prop, or was directly, you know, aimed at his prop, his proposal. And the fact of the matter is, on my kids, I hadn't even read his proposal, and I had written that well before he put his on. We just happen to be on different sides of things, right? So you know, it's just this attitude of me versus you, or you versus me, or we versus them, that I get from that particular group of people, that makes me not necessarily read the things that they post on Twitter or the things that they post on Agora. And again, that's just, it's me personally. I find them to be disturbing in some ways, and not helpful. And so I don't bother reading any of the stuff that they put out. So because of that, I don't know who these people are. I don't know what Bilbo Baggins' abilities are. Is he a dev? Is he a junior dev? Is he a senior dev? Is he a dev at all? I don't even know. A lot of these other names that are in this proposal of theirs, I've never even heard of. And maybe some of you guys have, and maybe you know exactly what they do. Maybe you know exactly what their plan is. Maybe, you know, you listen to everything that they say, and it all sounds good, and they've got a vision for LUNC. I don't know that, right? So I can't come out and say, oh, they don't know what they're doing, because I don't know. The interactions that I've had with them have put me off of looking at anything that they're doing with any type of seriousness. And I'm being honest about it, right? I may be missing a lot. I don't know. All I know is that we have, or had, an L1 development team that, you know, everything that these guys put out, you know, was getting past 90%. This is the way that the community wanted to go. It was clear and obvious, and so that's where I focused my attention, was on these guys, getting to know these guys, getting to know what their plans were, what their intentions were. That's where I spent my time. Things have changed, right? A lot of things have changed. And the community sentiment isn't 100% pro anybody right now. We're seeing with these proposals that right now, if memory serves, the original L1 development team, that proposal for funding for Q2, I believe it is a yes by maybe 12 or 13 or 11% over no, but still not even at quorum. So if it doesn't reach quorum, it really doesn't matter. And then once it reaches quorum, it needs to be, at least 50% yes for it to pass. It's questionable whether it's going to pass, right? Some validators could step in, all nodes or some of the bigger guys could step in and vote for it and put it right over just like that. Is that going to happen? I don't know. I don't know that we've heard anything. The other guys, I don't think it's ever been, that yes has ever been the answer on that one. I think it's been mostly no. And I think that I might have it wrong. Actually, I think that they are no at 11, 12, 13% over yes. But the original guys, I think, are yes by a very slim margin, actually. I think it might only be maybe a couple of percent that it's a yes, right? But none of them are reaching quorum, and we've only got 3 days left on them. We don't know if it's going to. So Frag came out with this proposal this morning, proposing to combine the two teams or the two proposals to some capacity. He totally left himself out of the mix together. He's not even in this, but he's suggesting that Bilbo Baggins and Lunkburn Army and Vin and whoever else that he put in it, he's proposing that maybe they just do a together thing, because he's looking at it and he's seeing that this proposal that they put forward isn't sailing through like most of the other proposals that they've put forward. And so he's looking at it and saying to himself, well, the community is divided, and the community is divided. He's right about that. So maybe we just combine the two. It's a bad move. It's a bad proposal. It wasn't a good idea. It was jumping the gun. I feel like it shows a little frustration and desperation, and I don't think it has a snowball's chance in hell of being the solution. It just goes to prove what I've been saying all along. We have too many hands in the pot, too many options, too many different paths, too many ideas, and right now we've got two options, right? We've got this team, we've got that team, and we can't decide on those two options. So the answer is to throw another option in. Maybe we combine the two of them. What you just did in Frag, I love Frag. I love all the work that he's done. I think he's a great guy and very talented, very talented. This was a bad move. What you just did was you gave the community yet another option to consider, as if they weren't confused enough as it was, right? Not a good idea. Not a good idea. We should have, in my opinion, we should have figured out, are we doing this? Are we doing that? And if we came to a point where we were doing neither, then maybe entertain the idea of, okay, well, what is the community looking for? Is there some amalgamation? Can we homogenize the two of them all together and come up with something that the community is going to actually rah-rah and go for? Then put that proposal forward. This was rushed. I don't know what the intent was here, putting this proposal forward. But all it did was confuse matters even more, take the focus off of the two that we already have, getting to consensus on one of them. That's what we need to do, right? This was a bad idea. Let's say that these two proposals could be actually put together, right? Let's say that the community would pass that. What do you think is going to happen? This whole time, these two factions have been warring against each other. They don't agree on much of anything, and if hurling, well, honestly, where it's coming more from one direction than it is the other, but basically hurling mud at the other side, right? I'm sorry, I got people driving around me, and I just wanted to make sure I wasn't in the way. We got mud being hurled at the other side, slander. I mean, really, really some animosity and feels like hatred being thrown at each other. So do you think that putting them together and bringing that division that's outside of the L1 team right now, bringing it together and putting it, so now we've got that division and that warring going on inside the L1 team, do you think that was a good idea? Really? Here's what's going to happen if that were to happen. Those guys, if they had the majority, right? It's like Survivor, right? Whoever has the majority starts kicking out the other guys until they are the majority, and then it's down to just them. If that other team had the majority, or even if they didn't, even if they had, an equal share, they're going to go on and tell everybody about how we don't need Lunk Army. Why is he being paid? We're paying him, and he doesn't do anything for this team. They're going to kick him out. And then they're going to talk shit about whoever else they want to talk shit about until they basically just left with who they wanted to begin with and get everybody else out of there. There's no way everybody's going to come together and sing Kumbaya and say, okay, great. Well, we're together. Let's hold hands, guys, and let's work together. It's going to be Gadikian and Zaradar all over again, if not worse. This was a bad idea. I implore you, if you are listening to this frag, and I'm going to send it right to you, I implore you to remove that proposal from Agora. I implore you to take that option and that confusion away from the community, and let's not even entertain that right now. There's not a chance in hell that would work. It's my opinion, right? You might disagree with it, and that's fine. You can if you want, but this is my opinion. We need to move forward with the two that we have, and in my opinion, I've made it clear, we shouldn't be changing teams in the middle of this thing. We should stick with a team, go forward, show some unity, and show some synergy, right? One contiguous line going forward in one direction. Every time something doesn't go exactly the way everybody wants, we're going to switch teams. You're never going to make everybody happy, but we need to stay on one path. That's my opinion. I will talk to y'all later. Ciao.